Hey guys, Mr. Abyss here with Life as a Shonen. If you're enjoying the content on our channel, go ahead and like our video and subscribe to our channel. And if you want to go ahead and get updates whenever we put out a new video, go ahead and click that little bell down there as well. Enjoy! Welcome back everybody for chapter 185 of My Hero Academia. Like last week, we're going to continue covering the Endeavour arc. But before we begin, I want to show off my Batman Who Laughs shirt because I think it's very cool. You probably should too. Anyways, so with this chapter this week, we start off going with a recap over the top 10 heroes. If you weren't here for last week, I'll give a quick run through of them. You have number 10, Ryokyu, the dragon hero. You have number 9, Yorio Musha, the samurai old guy. You have Wash. I don't even want to acknowledge Wash. You have Kamui Woods. You remember him from the Invasion arc. You have Crust, the hero, looked like he had hardening, something like that. You have Mirako, which is the bunny. You have Edgeshot. You should also remember him. Best Genus, same thing. And then you have the two characters that are going to be the focus for the Endeavour Redemption arc. Hawks at number 2, Endeavour at number 1. I've actually found that, so what I do in these videos, I read the chapter first, then go back through it with everybody. It's fun. It gives me a better understanding of what's happening in the past. Some things I really didn't realize I browsed through so quickly when I first read the series. So it's really cool to finally look back at Hawks. I like them a lot more than I did. They were having for the top 10 introduction. It's kind of like an award ceremony nearly. You have the speaker saying that the reason they've held the ceremony is because it's a turning point. Like we all remember, the symbol of peace, the one that had held up everything for so long, has finally had to retire. It's been 3 months since that, and the word is starting to circulate, and you still lack an icon. Really, it's cool to have the top 10, and they're going to do their best, but you need that one hero, at least in the All Might era, that everyone fears, that no one's going to try anything to do, and if the big villains do come, they're going to come at him. This is the hero that shoulders the burdens of society, that people should strive to be. What I do like that they're doing here is, it really centers in, like I said, on Hawks and Endeavor's relationship. I almost think you get this cool dynamic between the two. It's like, okay, so it honestly reminds me of when Damian Wayne and Dick Grayson took over Batman and Robin. One of them is the dark, brooding, which was Damian. The other one is the lighthearted, it's kind of like good cop, bad cop. Where Endeavour is right now, you kind of got to have that. Because he's still angry. This is way before the redemption or anything that's coming before this. So he's still that, the angry Todoroki that we remember him being. Love Endeavour. Love him so much. They give all the heroes a moment to come up and speak. I do like some of the speeches that they give. Shows how humble some of them are and then how humble some of them are not. Like the dragon hero, she actually wanted to decline her ranking because of how many people she could have saved. She's being a little hard on herself, I think, because she probably tried her hardest, but that's the attitude of a pro hero. There's always more you could have done. She gets interrupted by Crust. Crust is one of those heroes. He honestly reminds me of kind of like Kirishima. He's got a lot of energy. He really likes to express himself. Kind of annoying. Kirishima's not annoying, but this guy's a little annoying because he did interrupt the last hero. We skip really quick after that. We don't do 7, 8, 9, 10. We go straight to number 4, which is Edgeshot. What's interesting is if we based it off of approval ratings, Edgeshot would have been number 3. Best Genus would have been number 1, I believe, and Hawks would have been number 2. But that's not everything, even though Hawks does make a good point later on in this chapter. As Edgeshot's giving his speech, he said he's grateful for the high approval that comes from his work, but he's not doing this for the fame. And you get a couple panels after that, which shows Hawk getting a little bored with what's going on. It's kind of like when you hear a coach in a sports interview talk, there's coach speak. There's things they're always going to say, kind of is what's happening here, and it's annoying Hawks. This is just standard hero speak. Of course, they're going to get up there and say that, and as someone who's a little new to this, because you're going to find that out later as well, it's a little annoying. Edgeshot continues on to say, I believe that fostering peace is the essence of heroism, only to get interrupted by Hawks saying, who cares about any of that? And I like the way Horikoshi did the next panel. You can see the entire room, emotion change with the lines that he uses drawing downward. It's pretty cool. Just the silence of the place takes over. Starting to like Bunny. Bunny seems like that. Bunny's got a lot of spunk to her. I don't think she's really concerned with appropriate speech, anything like that. She turns to Hawk and goes, "Damn, that was ballsy." As usual, you enjoy throwing everyone for a loop, don't you? This is where Hawks begins to bring up, in his opinion, and I do think he's kind of messing with Endeavour. That's another thing that I like about him. They're kind of like an odd couple. Endeavour is easy to make angry. What better than to have next to him than someone who's sarcastic, that likes to play with people? You don't get a better back and forth than that. That's why I think this arc is so much more enjoyable. Not that the others aren't, but for me, so much more enjoyable than anything that's come before this. And so far after it. He says if you were going by just approval ratings, Best Jeanist would be first. Due to the extra boost in his ratings because of the injuries he has to go through, which just kind of shows you why approval rating probably isn't the best thing to go off of, but that's not why he's bringing it up. He states that he would be second, Ed Shot would be third, and Endeavour would be fourth. And Endeavour, of course, gives a very pissed off look. And then Hawk says he thinks those are the most He thinks those are the most important. He thinks those are the most important metric right now. There's no time to be clean to the path. There's no time for the status quo. There is no All Might. There is no symbol of peace. So why are we trying to do things the same way? And I can't disagree with him. Only because we as fans know really how strong All Might is. Like, yes, the people in the city understand that All Might's the symbol of peace. He's at the top. He's strong as hell. But they don't really understand that there's, I believe he's the seventh, 6 other users' power stacked on, they don't know the depths of what his power is. Hawks goes on to state that why are people who can't even earn a higher rank than him being so tame and subdued on a day that's deemed a turning point? Why isn't this more exciting? If it's that big of a day, why are we acting like it is? And he asked them to please speak more like real heroes. No more of this coach speak. No more of these pre-decided rants. No, he wants, I guess, their real feelings. And then we get a little background on Hawks. And I'll go ahead and go over this. Hawks is 22 years old, and he is the hero that reached the top 3 in the last Billboard chart. He started his own office at the age of 18. He was already in the top 10 by that same year's second semester rankings. This guy has reached the top 10 as a teenager for a historical first. He's the youngest and quickest to have ever come about. People call him the precocious man. I had to look at precocious, didn't know what that meant, but it's pretty much he's a prodigy. He's the guy that popped up, went to the top, it is staying there quicker than anyone's ever done it. Some of the fans in the crowd, other heroes like Fat Gum, I forgot the other hero who was working for Night Eye, I believe that was his name, it's been a long time. He thinks he's arrogant, which you could say Hawks is a little bit arrogant, but he does have a point with what he's saying. And with that speech, he turns to Endeavour and says, so next in line with lower approval ratings than me, the number 1. Which Endeavour is not pleased at all. He's really not good at public speaking anyways, so it kind of throws him for a loop that Hawks got up there and made this world-changing speech or, era-changing speech and stole every single bit of thunder he could have possibly had. The audience even knows it's a pretty tough act for Endeavour to follow, knowing who he is. You get a small moment where the crowd's they're waiting for Endeavour to say something. What's the speech he's going to give? This new number 1, the new chosen symbol of peace. What could he have to say after all of this and all that time, hoping to be the number 1 hero? He stands up in front of the mic, in front of the crowd of people, in front of everyone on television, and says, apart from what that novice just tried to stir up, he starts reminiscing in his head, thinking about what a hero is and what is the symbol of peace. To what end should you become stronger? The answer is, okay, then he continues speaking and says, to what end should you become stronger? And the answer is surely very simple. There's not much to say, just watch me. Love this guy so much. You get this badass close-up where you see the intensity in his eyes and the flames coming from his mustache and hair covering his eyes. Coolest thing he could have said, if you don't believe me, just watch. Essentially, that's what it is. All this doubt y'all are having, you're about to find out why your doubt should be put at ease. This takes the audience for a loop. No one was really expecting that. I'm sure they were thinking there was going to be some pre-written speech that went on for 5 minutes, but he was straight to the point. And Hawks actually starts clapping. He actually likes the way that Endeavor handled this. We cut to the end of the awards ceremony and go straight into Endeavor's room where he's currently trying to choke Hawks for what Hawks did to him. And Hawks is laughing, apologizing for causing Endeavor all this trouble. But it was good that he did it. Sort of showing you here the relationship that's going to continue out through the next chunk of chapters. Hawks actually enjoys the speech that Endeavor gave because, like you saw during his speech, he's tired of the same old thing, that same hero speak that you always get. Justice is going to stand above all. We're going to try our hardest. Instead, Endeavor got up there and said, just watch me. And he thinks that is exactly what the people needed to hear. Of course, this is pre-change Endeavor, so he's still pissed off at every single thing someone says. And you get more of their back and forth and what's going to be so awesome about these two teaming up going forward. Hawks even admits that he was never really a fan of that he was never really a fan of All Might, which is interesting. And he's really propping up Endeavor here, and you're going to see that throughout this arc. It's kind of like Hawks is having to teach Endeavor how to be a hero, which is really cool. Hawks goes on to say, while Endeavor's standing there, that I wouldn't say you're an iconic presence like All Might was. However, I think having a new leader right now is absolutely necessary. And you know what? You were kind of cool too. Which pleases me so much. You know how much I like Endeavor. You get more of Endeavor's thoughts in his head. He thinks that Hawks is trying to get him into submission so that he'll be weak and Hawks will be able to take the number one spot from him. But Hawks is not even worried about that. You'll find out about that later. Hawks admits that would rather operate freely in a lower rank than ever be the number one hero and have all the pressure that Endeavor now has to bear. As Hawks is laughing, Endeavor turns away and tells him that I hate people like you the most. We're done talking. Go apologize to everyone you just pissed off. And right before Hawks can ask him the main question, Endeavor turns away, tells him he's not listening, and tells him to get the hell out of his sight. And the last thing that Hawks says to him is he requests a team-up. And he has some first-hand reports of something cropping up in his hometown. And asks him, do you remember the Nomus? If you don't remember the Nomu, that's the black entity that All Might fought back in the invasion of the school that Shigaraki brought with him. Very cool fight. You should probably remember that. And we flash to the last couple panels in the chapter where we get introduced to the villain, or at least the monster they're going to have to be fighting throughout this arc. We are shown that this is not like the original Nomus that we fought. If you remember the old Nomus, there was no intelligence. They could not speak. I don't even know if they could feel pain. They were people whose minds had just been erased and given multiple quirks that their brains could not handle. But the creator says this time, I'll be expecting bigger results. And the Nomu says, high end. And that is the... Oh, wait, no, the Nomu says... The Nomu's name... And the Nomu's name is high end. And it turns to its creator and says, leave it to me. Never heard a Nomu talk, so that is not a good sign. That's it for this chapter this week. Really enjoyed doing this. We're going to keep on doing it. Next week, we'll bring you chapter 186. And when the new chapter is released tomorrow, I'll go ahead and record that video, edit it, then release. See y'all later.